I have got some awesome comic book speculation for you guys today. While the new Miles Morales Spider-Man series has been a fantastic read so far, I don't think the series itself is being talked about as much as it should be. Did you know 10 of the 18 current issues are either first appearances or cameos with vital information? Keep watching this video to hear about all the important issues and which ones I think you should be investing in, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone, AR Comics here, and today I've got some awesome Miles Morales speculation to go over with you guys. I won't be covering his first appearance in Ultimate Fallout 4. I'm sure you're all very tired of hearing it every single week. However, I do have some speculation from his current run that needs to be covered. But first, if you are new to the channel, I drop weekly comic book content, and that includes speculation videos, upcoming book releases, unboxings, and new comic book day reviews, and that happens every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So hit that subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new content because you do not want to miss out on this. And without further ado, let's get started on the books. First up on the list, obviously, I had to pick number one. So it turns out the internet lied to me. There are more variant covers and prints for a few of these issues, and I will be showing them off. Enjoy. This is cover A. There are 6 total variants, but before I get into that, I just have to say Saladin Ahmed and his team have done a fantastic job on this series so far. I love reading it. It's one of my favorite current Marvel ongoings, and the artwork is just fantastic. I don't know a single person who's reading this and isn't enjoying it. And in my opinion, speculation aside, I think this is worth your money just to read it. If you want to pick up the trade paperbacks, by all means, whatever helps you afford it easier, this is something you should be reading. So now, while this issue itself isn't too important, I only picked it because it is a number one. But the other issues, the variants, they are selling for a decent amount of money, including this one. This one does have a second, third, and fourth print, but the cool ones to me are a 1 in 10, 1 in 25, and a 1 in 50 incentive variant. You should keep an eye on those, and I try to look for them whenever I can, but they're obviously at this point pretty hard to come by. Next up on the list, however, is when we start getting into some first appearances and a little bit more character action. Next up, we have number 3. Number 3, while I don't think it's super important, it does introduce Snatcher as a first appearance. You see Miles, he kind of has a little bit of love interest going on with Barbara. He's trying to get a little bit closer to her, and I believe it's her little cousin. He gets kidnapped by the Snatcher. Obviously, it's an obvious name, but either way, he does that, and you learn a little bit later that he's using all these kids for his mind control. He's making a little army, and Miles pretty much does what he can to save them. I don't think Snatcher comes back in the series at all, so in my opinion, I don't think he's too vital as a character, but nonetheless, it is a first appearance. There are no variant covers to this, so you don't have to worry about that. Next up, we have number 5. You have a nice appearance of Tombstone in this one, but the real kicker is a Starling cameo. You don't know who she is yet, but she makes a little appearance, and you kind of see Miles have a small little thing for her. You can kind of tell it's going to turn into something, and right off the bat, you are very interested in who this character is. This is another issue that does not have a second print or any variants, so you don't need to worry about that. This one, in my opinion, is the big one, though. Next up on the list, we have number 6. This is the first full appearance of Starling. They have a nice team up, and it's an awesome issue overall. Right off the bat, you just know that she's going to be sticking around, and personally, when I first read through this, I was really hoping that they kind of teamed up for the rest of the run. They obviously go their separate ways for a little while, but this is, in my opinion, an issue you really should have in your collection. I think Starling is here to stay. This issue does have a second print cover, so make sure you just keep an eye out for that one as well. Next up on the list, I have Spider-Man number 7. This one is another first appearance with a second print, so keep your eyes peeled for that one too. I don't think this one is too important either. But like I was saying, it is a first appearance. It's first appearance of Quantum. You kind of see him. He's like this blue robot kind of thing, and he works for the Assessor. You don't know what the Assessor is or who that is yet. That's another issue. But this is a first appearance, and you see him make another appearance in a later issue. So he's got some importance. He's not the important character itself. Who he works for is the important one. But you never know what they're going to do with him. Next up on the list, I have issue number 8. I just gotta say, I love this cover. I think this cover is fantastic. But if you are looking for other covers, it does have a second print, which is incredible as well. And it has a Scotty Young variant. This is another first appearance. So you heard that right. That is 3 issues in a row that are all first appearances. And I do think this character also has a little bit more importance to the overall story. He's kind of mentioned later on in the series as well. It's first appearance of the Assessor. He's kind of like this gray, ghoulish looking thing. You don't really know. He's got the form of kind of a person, a hollowed out type person. But he's very robotic, so you don't exactly know what he is or who he is. But his name is the Assessor. He tortures Miles Morales and puts him through all these different trials. This was an awesome issue. I really enjoyed reading it. Like I said, I really enjoy reading all of it. But this one in particular, maybe it's the cover that really did it for me. But great overall issue. Good to have in your collection. In my opinion, I do think the next one is pretty big to the story too. It's number 10, and it's Legacy 250. So it's one of those big even numbers. Plus, I think it's a little bit of an oversized issue. But the cool thing to me is that it has another first appearance. This one is the Ultimatum. You don't know exactly who he is until the very end, but before you find that out, they reintroduce the Ultimate Green Goblin, and then later in the issue, towards the end, you find out that Ultimatum is actually the evil Miles Morales from that old Spider-Man 2 run, so that's pretty cool. It's nice to see him back. You don't know what his game plan is, but you see him talking to Wilson Fisk, and I think that's going to be awesome. But the thing that I really think makes this issue very vital and very important is that it has the origin of Starling. So if you're keeping up with Starling and you think she's important to the whole story and maybe a future character, this is something that you need to have in addition. Maybe not the cameo as much, but the cameo is very cheap right now, so you should probably pick up the cameo with the first appearance. Couple that with this, you are going to be set. Now, I know I keep talking about how important all of these issues are and which ones I'm like, well, this is a first appearance. This is a first appearance. So I was talking up Starling. However, Miles Morales 13. This one, I think, future-wise, this one could be extremely important as well. This is a first appearance of his baby sister, Billy Morales. You don't know anything about her. She's obviously a baby. But she's part of the Moraleses. That would be an awesome team up in the future. Maybe they show something where he's an adult, a little bit older. She's now a teenager, and they just tandem fight like crime together. I think it could be a cool setup. I know Marvel's just not going to abandon Billy, so I would keep a lookout for it. It also has 2 different variants and a second print. The second print is just like the final picture with the whole family there holding the baby. The print that I think you should be looking out for, they have a Venom Island one. Not a huge fan of it, but it is selling for a decent bit of money, especially because the first appearance of Billy Morales. But the other one is the Iron Man 2020 variant. I really enjoy it. I went for cover A because I like it, but I know that one is selling for a lot of money right now. So next up on the list, we have issue 17. To me, this is when the story starts to get very interesting. I'm really enjoying the route that they're taking, and I think I know what they're doing. They're kind of setting up like Miles Morales' own clone saga, and I'm really looking forward to it. I hope they follow through with that. And this is just a cameo of Miles' clone. So it's not a first appearance, nothing like that. Just a nice little cameo for a setup. I think it's important, but it's obviously not a first appearance. However, this one is. 18, This is the first appearance of his clone. This is cover B. I really like this cover. It's not cover A, but there's also a variant. It's a one per store. It's like a Marvel 80-year publication type cover. It's selling for a decent amount of money. I'm seeing it like 50-ish dollars, but I'm just sticking with this one. If I can find the other one, I'll probably pick that up too, because in my opinion, this kind of is an important one as well with the whole possible clone saga starting. You don't know where they're going to go with that or what possibly could happen with it. But after all these issues I just went through, on top of this could be a very important run to the overall Miles Morales. He obviously knew when he was writing it, the first appearance took off. It jumped, it skyrocketed. So what did he do? He capitalized on the story he was writing. He's obviously making more first appearances. He's making this, and this for the story. It's so exciting, and it just feels like a nice, fresh read. I look forward to all the issues, and I cannot wait to see where him and his team goes with this story. So now, the moment you have all been waiting for. The issue that I think is most important is going to have to be number 6, first appearance of Starling. I know other people are thinking the same thing. However, I do think there's a nice little tie between this one and I know first appearance of Billy Morales. This is going to be important as well. But as of now, I'm going to put this one on the back burner because you don't really know anything. She's still a baby. She's not really being thought of in that aspect like Starling is. If you continued on with the story and then you read the Outlaw like one shot, you know she's part of the Champions team. Coming out, and I believe it's October, is going to be a Champions run. She's obviously in it. She's part of that new generation. People are loving the idea of this new generation right now, and she's part of it. So in my opinion, I think you should be investing in this one more than any of these other ones in the series. Obviously, Billy Morales, that could be a far future. And there's some awesome little conspiracy going on that she's actually Spider-Zero from the whole like Spider-Verse run. That's a whole nother thing. I've talked about it in a different story. I don't know if I believe it, but nonetheless, it's interesting. So now is your turn. Which issue out of this entire run do you think is the most important and which one you should be investing in? Because I may have missed something. Maybe you guys know more than me. So I would love for you to shed some light on what I just talked about. So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new content. My content days again are every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. You do not want to miss out. I've got very big plans for this channel, and I want you guys to be a part of it. I'm still working out some details on what I can do and how I can go about it. So I'm going to keep you guys posted as soon as I find out anything else. And with that, have a good day.